Hello, this is Katie Bray from the Bellingham Public Library, and I'm here to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is not being able to read. Shocker, I know, but even the most voracious readers among us go through a period of not being able to read. Colloquially, we call it a book rut. But, I'm sure collectively a lot of us are having trouble reading right now, given the state of the world and our state of isolation from one another. So I just thought I would drop in and talk to you about a couple of tips and tricks that I've used in the last couple of years to help keep me reading and hopefully maybe help you to read a little bit more during this time. So the great news is we all can still read, but you have to approach it a little bit differently than you used to. That doesn't mean that you're not a reader. It just means that things are different. So the first thing that I do is I read shorter, more plot-based books with satisfying endings. Um, and if you know me, you know that means I read a lot of YA novels. YA novels are great for little bursts of accomplishment because they do move really fast and you can get them done in a relatively short amount of time. Plus, right now, young adult writing is the best it has ever been, and the endings are great. They're not ambiguous. They won't keep you up at night, but they will keep you entertained and engaged. I also read a lot of graphic novels. People, especially who are distracted easily, have a great time with graphic novels because they have images as well as text. Those images can convey points and emotion and story to people who might have a harder time sitting down and reading long paragraphs. And like YA novels, they're going through a renaissance of writing. I really recommend you pick up a graphic novel sometime, especially from our adult graphic novel collection, um, because they're interesting, they're thoughtful, the storytelling is innovative, and they're fun. It's okay to have fun when you're reading, right? Um, and when I do have to read something long and complex, usually for a book group, I listen to them because tend to absorb the complexities much easier when I'm listening, and I tend to drift off or get distracted less. And plus, now it's really easy to download stuff with Libby, right? I hope you are using Libby. I use it every day. I use audiobooks when I'm doing chores, when I'm doing my daily walk, and often sometimes when I'm actually buying books for the library. And so, that speaking of which, the library, I actually don't finish books that haven't grabbed me within the first 50 pages. Life is just too short for books that aren't interesting. So if you find that you've hit 50 pages, go ahead, stop reading that book, put it away, return it when you can, and pivot to something else. Pivot to something that grabs your attention more. Um, Whatever that happens to be, whatever, basically, whatever that happens to be. And it might be something different than what you were reading right now. Let's say you don't normally read political thrillers, but you're finding that that's really something that you're interested in. I'd say go with that gut instinct. Your body and your mind know what they want. Go with it. Don't always read romance. That's okay. It's okay to read it right now. Need a little escapism? Go for it. Just don't internalize something about who you are based on what you're reading. You read what makes you feel good. And that's okay. It's actually great, because you're learning a little bit more about yourself. You're exploring something new. The last thing really that helps me is structure and routine. We do summer reading for adults every year, that requires you to read 5 books, um, in a bingo-like structure that actually tells you what types of books to read. And I like this, and my reading increases every year because it gives me, one, a goal, which is read 5 books, gives me some options as to what to read, and it gives me an end date. Deadlines are really great if you are one of those people that won't do them without a deadline, which is exactly who I am. So if you need a little bit of structure, keep an eye out for summer reading. We'll be doing it starting June 1st. That can always be a good way to get yourself motivated, is to actually put yourself in a structure. So in the end, realize that being distracted or in a rut is not forever. And it doesn't mean that you are no longer a reader. It just means that things are temporarily different, and there should be no shame involved in this process. The library will be here for you regardless, and will even help you out if you ask. So, if you have any comments on this video or suggestions on how to beat that book rut, please leave them down below, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.